minimizing charisma, maximizing intelligence, shooting someone in the crotch with a cannonball, thrust, propulsion. It's science-y.
Why you always gotta be blowing my spot up like that? There are my runes. There they are. I'm not mad. Science needs art and art needs science. They both need each other to function properly.
There are ways to figure out what the paper is really saying.
And then I'm ready to get on Twitter and yell at people about doing their own research on...
Oh, hold on there, sports fan.
Kyle Hill, everybody! He's the next generation of science communicator. I'm going to be too old at a certain point to do those terrible things to my body, and it'll be up to you.
He's got like a lion's mane. This guy's amazing. Kyle Hill.
I'm Boo Rambo.
The universe is indifferent to you. Whether or not you have amazing hair, the universe doesn't care.
How are trees pushing past this pressure limit? Behold, my balls. Now we're getting somewhere, but I still don't think it's worthy of G.R.R. Martin's suspender.
I'm totally right? Close up photos of my frickin' hair? Is that what you all want? No, you don't, weirdos.
Kyle Hill. Is your last name actually Hemsworth? What's going on?
Our resident Thor lookalike?
I prefer Black Friday Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, you know, if you need a haircut...
No, of course not! We're not gonna send sharks with frickin' laser beams on their heads to an asteroid. We're gonna nuke it. You don't need Bruce Willis at all. Wrenched. Oh! Headshot! Oh! Kevin, turn on the monitor. Kevin, this transition better work. The blast doors can't. Kevin, turn it on. Kevin, call his agent and have them call my agent.
Kyle Hill, happy birthday! Feliz Navidad!
I'm just a biologist. I don't know how this works. This is how you do science. Can I just grab it? Oh. Laws, corollaries. Bye-bye.
I know that global catastrophe isn't the most fun thing to think about all day unless you're me, so...
Are we gonna do some science, bro?
Lasers don't have that much momentum.
That's not how clockwise works.
Don't worry, you can do this even if you are not an AI.
It boots the boundary layer around a person through a dynamic. And I guess it matters what kind of dragon we're talking. Realize here is that the bigger the thing does...
If this kite is completely inaccurate, I'm gonna kill this guy and tell him to his face. You're wrong about physics! Not enough lift force. Oh.
Nuclear metal donut thing with magnetically confined star-like plasma. The radiation flux in here alone is enough to cause instant death!
That's really funny. I like that idea.
Hey, look at me. I'm a streamer. I have a bedroom. We know anything with a decapitation hazard deserves to, yeah.
Ooh. Oh, that's good. That's fine.
Put it on PBS. I dare you. Space. The final frontier. When we look to the stars, we have times in our lives where... Hey, don't I sound like Star Trek Picard? Today, I'm flying straight at your face from the facility to bring you a couple of science topics. The main topic, of course, we'll be going through the Event Horizon Telescope and what it found out here in all this vastness. Will we discover what lies at the heart of every galaxy? We are getting closer and closer. But we can't do that without letting our hair down, getting comfortable, and joining me today for this episode of Office Hours. Yo! Oh, man. This thing comes in for a bumpy ride. Hello! Bumpy landing. And welcome to Office Hours, a live component of the facility where good old Professor Kyle opens up his blast doors and allows all of you, members of the general public, members of my facility staff, my security team, Jabo and Heather, all of you who ignored my laser decapitation warning signs, into the facility for about the next hour or so as we talk and gib and gab about all the goings-ons in the worlds of science, pop culture, and everything else. Over the next hour or so, we'll be talking about a couple of topics, specifically the new black hole image from the Event Horizon Telescope, Neil deGrasse Tyson's bad tweeting, and if we get to it, your comments, questions, and corrections from the latest episode of the facility. Of course, if you want to continue on this conversation after we are live, you can check out the VOD, you can leave comments there, you can subscribe to the facility, you can join the facility by going to patreon.com/Kyle Hill right now, where if you do, you get to see videos early, get private members-only live streams with me, bloopers, hair care tips, anything you want, especially on the private Discord that you can't get into without proper access. So, today we begin with the Event Horizon Telescope, and I'll be taking your comments and questions as we do so. And looking at that now, welcome, Crafty. If you really, really, really want me to... It's been like 2 weeks, I forgot how to do this. If you really, really, really want me to see something, you can try Super Chats as you see them flooding in. I can't promise I will get to every single Super Chat, but I do promise that even if I don't, they will go towards the facility, my substantial hair conditioner budget, and paying to make memes for Discord. Kyle Farmer, sick name with the 5, says, I'm wanting to get the Kyle fight started. My hair is better than yours. Probably not. Just on average, probably not. Chibi Hugs with the 10 says, hey Kyle, thank you for the sciencey goodness on my birthday. Loving my new lab coat. Chibi, happy birthday. I'm glad you're enjoying the new lab coat. We sold out. Well, we did our run of facility stitched lab coats. We will be doing another one hopefully soon when I remember to do that. We also have a 5 for Mick Scrubbington. You know, as I'm reading this out, Chad and I, you know that we're doing an ongoing vocal exercise where I know a lot of you are from Australia, so any Australian donations I will read in Australian because I am preparing for a role, and that role is sitting around the house. Mick Scrubbington with the $5. Hey Kyle, love the show. Will you be doing any more videos on the science of Dungeons and Dragons? Maybe how Spelljammer ships work? The next commander set for Magic the Gathering is Dungeons and Dragons inspired, so maybe that'd be an intersection of like a number of things that I like. DeForest Tapan with the 5 says, watch your shower video last night. You seed it a nightmare. But whoever made we humans got it far worse. Sorry, any misspelling. Indeed. Jordan Anthony with the 5. Hey, Kevin, do you know about Simi Valley? I'm not Kevin. Don't worry, we're going to get to the Event Horizon Telescope in just a second. Do you know about Simi Valley, California nuclear meltdown from a sodium reactor that happened in the 1960s? No. Greatly appreciate what you do, says Matt. Matt, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I've been told by a number of people that they have mixed feelings on the new 3 Mile Island documentary that's out on Netflix. So I do have a contact who worked on the cleanup of 3 Mile Island. So I might talk to him. I might do an episode. Zane Valius with the $10. With the latest breakthrough in fusion, how far away... And I apologize for my voice today. I just developed allergies now in life, which is fun. Even though I don't go outside, maybe I should look in the HEPA filters of this place. I mean, I can't even fix the lights. See? How far away do you think we are to full realization of fusion, says Zane? I would say probably not in my lifetime. But then again, you don't know what my lifespan is. Alexander, with the $50. Hey, Uncle Kyle. I'm not your uncle. Although, I would be the fun one. No questions. I know everything. I'm just simping for science. Cheers. Are you getting your probiotics, Kyle? No. No. But do you know what I am? A let's just talk about some space. Sir Winter Rain with the Australian $2. Here we go. Simp, mate. G'day. How are you? I'm fine, thanks. About to talk about the Event Horizon Telescope. And the first thing you got to know about the Event Horizon Telescope is that it's so amazing because it's a telescope the size of the world. Yeah, I know. Pretty good, right? I'm preparing for a role, like I said, which is Chris Hemsworth's shoulder double. No, he's too big. Hair double. Fine. Shardul Roat with 100 somethings. Hey Kyle, did you watch the U.S. Congress hearings today on the UFOs? If yes, any thoughts? No, I didn't watch it, but I know a number of people that I trusted have watched it and said it was not very skeptical and quite bad, quite eye-rolly. But I haven't watched it myself, so I don't know. Thank you for being amazing. Your recent Elon jokes left me in tears laughing. Detonation EMS with the 5. The latest shower video where I made a number of comments about Elon Musk because it's fun to make fun of the richest man in the world who's a weirdo. It's the highest number of dislikes on any video on the channel, which only proves my point. Okay, so this is what we'll be calling Sag A. It is the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. We now think there's a hole in your background. There's a big hole in your background, says Tactical Bucket. No, what do you mean? You can't even see that. Light doesn't make it. Sag A, yes. Just like Twitter emote. It's Sag. So that's what we're gonna call it. You Twitch dorks. Sag, up here, okay? You guys are a bunch of nerds. Okay, so Sag A, Sagittarius A, black hole, Sagittarius A asterisks. Black hole, supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Astronomers, cosmologists, physicists now believe that there is probably a supermassive black hole at the center of every galaxy. And the interesting thing about black holes, of course, is that you can't see them. You have no direct evidence of a black hole. The black hole image you saw of M87, even this new black hole image, is not of the object itself. So how do you detect that there's a black hole in space in the first place? If you cannot see it, if you cannot receive any information from it directly, that's why it's called the event horizon. I know if you watch sci-fi stuff, like me as a kid, event horizon has it hits you conceptually different, like it's just a name, but break it down. Event horizon. The point at which any information, any event cannot make it causally to you. Event stops there. Think about that. So anything that could irradiate from the black hole or something, radiate from the black hole or anything like that, anything that were to reflect off of it, you're not going to get that message back. So what we do is, instead of direct evidence, we rely on indirect evidence of black holes, really big ones. And the most direct of the indirect evidence is their gravity. If they're supermassive, this one you're looking at, Sag, is 4 million times the mass of the sun. That's huge. So what does all that hugeness do? That hugeness does this. It affects stars and other bodies in its area gravitationally. Now, Sag is at the center of all of these animations here. Oh, these aren't, well, I mean, these are real. Except for in the one in the middle, that's just tracing the star's path. But each one of those dots is a real star. Now, look in the center of the images. You will see, let's look on the far left first, where the star is. You see the stars making rapid U-turns. Oh, like, look how tight that one is on the left. An incredibly tight U-turn. In the center now, we see those path waves starting to curve at an eccentricity that's so much different than what it was at. And then this one right next to me, moving much quicker, you can see how the star gets whipped around. Now, we can't see Security team dealing with a lot of black hole jokes, huh? Good job, chat. You're very clever. And also thank you, security. We wouldn't be able to see effects like this without something supermassive, without something with a lot of gravity. And having these effects at the center of galaxies that we look at implies some supermassive thing that we cannot see. This thing that we cannot see is a black hole. We have other evidence too, but this is the main one. The one that you could look at the night sky with a telescope sufficiently powerful and see if you were in an observatory and were an astronomer. Whatever. But recently, we took the Event Horizon Telescope and we took this image. Now, how do you get an image like that? Night sun with a Canadian $5. Do you think that adding 5 to 10% plutonium to depleted uranium could work as nuclear fuel? I don't know. Daniel Morrow with the Australian $10. Here we go. First live one in a while. Shout out from Australia, you bloody legend. No question, just simping for science. Daniel Morrow, I appreciate it. Again, if I sound weird, it's because I'm preparing for a role as Chris Hemsworth's hair double. Appreciate the $10. Anyway, how do you get an image like this? Well, you can't just point a telescope at the sky and get this for two reasons. This is 27,000 light years away. If we're in one of the spiraling arms of the Milky Way galaxy, this is at its center. And so it's so far away, and in between the center of the galaxy and us is a lot of stuff. Interstellar gas, dust, billions and billions of stars. If all... Kyle is Techno-Viking, says Murder Hornets. Funny you should say that. I was working out yesterday to the Doom soundtrack, and I felt like braiding my hair and doing Techno-Viking stuff. Stop distracting me, chat. We're trying to learn together. Which is, we're trying to learn, you and me, and have fun. You know, like the opposite of Neil's tweets. Okay, so there's a lot of gas and stuff, and interstellar gas, dust, stars in between our eyes and the center of the galaxy. So how do you get at that? Well, you need a sufficiently large telescope that can get the resolution of something 27,000 light years away. And you need something that doesn't see invisible light. When you have billions and billions of stars in the way, that's going to totally drown out an object like this. If you have a bunch of light hitting gas and dust in between you, it's like a light box. If you're working production, it's like a light box. It's like putting a light behind, a sponge or something like that. It diffuses the light, it spreads it out, and makes any image behind it squishy, blurry, bad. And so visible light is not what you want. So what the Event Horizon Telescope did was use a number of simultaneous observations from across the planet, from one side of the Earth to the other, top to bottom, multiple observatories observing at the exact same time in radio waves. Waves that can penetrate this gas and dust. Waves that don't get interfered with in the same way, much longer wavelengths. As opposed to, if visible light is like this, radio waves are like that. A radio wave can sometimes be like a meter long or more, Well, it can be any length, but they're much longer. Whereas, light is on the nanometer scale. Radio waves can be on the meter scale. So they solve two problems. By using multiple observatories around the planet and then combining simultaneous images, they effectively get a telescope the size of the planet. That's the resolution issue. And then they use radio waves. That's the visible light issue. Ash Paul with the 10 says, if you aren't impressed with a picture of the black hole, you clearly don't understand the gravity of the situation. Oh! solves the two problems. And since I have the animation here, there's a really cool animation for, I want to impress upon you just how crazy the resolution of this is. Okay? Trying to look at an object that's 27,000 light years away. Okay? Yo, how many times has Neil said you can only kiss yourself on the lips in a mirror? Says King of Nothing. You can do that search. What Neil, we'll get to this, but what Neil does is he has a couple of tweets that get a lot of engagement, and he schedules them for the exact same date for multiple years. So he will tweet the exact same thing years and years and years in a row. It's almost like he only has a set number of facts, and then he just doesn't. We'll get to that. So since I have this animation, the resolution of the Event Horizon Telescope is like being able to resolve the sprinkles on a donut on the surface of the moon from where your butt is. So imagine sitting on your butt, you look up at the night sky with a telescope and you start zooming. And you start zooming. And you're 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 zooming, 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 and donut. That's what we're talking about here. Jacob with a 1999. How much better will these photos get when they use the JWST? The JWST sees an infrared, which is not the same wavelength of light we're using to look at these black holes. Instead, infrared is right before red, and radio waves are on the other side. So wrong wavelength. Cheech Ola with the Australian 3099. Here we go. G'day, Kyle. Been a while since I caught the strain. Oh, Z, look at that. We'll get to you. Z, 1 second. G'day, Kyle. Been a while since I caught the strain. You and the nerdy staff inspired... Okay, I'm going to read this for real now. You and the nerdy staff inspired me to go back to school. I'm studying environmental science and sustainability. Gotta go. Love yous. Cheers, you bloody legend. Cheech! Let's get some love for Cheech Ola in the chat. Cheech, in all seriousness, any way that me or our content, anything that we do that can be involved in your life in a positive way is honoring and humbling, and it's the best praise a person like me can get. So I wish you the absolute best of luck in school. Study hard, take it seriously. I also went to school for environmental engineering. It'll be hard, but it will pay off, and you'll feel smarter while doing it. Cheech, you bloody legend. And now we have resolution of this donut. Okay, look at that. Another example of the resolution of the of this image here. It's like being able to see an atom at arm's length. That's insane. Z with the $500 donation. Z, as always, coming in on a motorcycle, wearing a leather jacket, no helmet. Why? Because they're not going to crash. How fast are they going? Yes. Kyle, hello. Doing you how? Okay. Maybe don't phrase it that way. Question. I recently completed the Mass Effect trilogy, and it got me wondering about one of the endings. The synthesis ending, the only true ending, changes the DNA of everything to be partially synthetic/inorganic. How could a pulse of energy/data be enough to alter the DNA of every living being, and how does DNA become partially synthetic? Now, I don't believe a pulse of energy... So a pulse of energy could radiate out and say it's like gamma rays. A pulse of gamma rays could radiate out and damage people's DNA. That's possible. But to change it in a way that's specific and beneficial, much less likely. And to do it in a way that inserts something is impossible, probably. But it depends on what you mean by synthetic. So we can do this today. Synthetically changing your DNA If you alter the DNA of an embryo now in a way that is artificial, we can consider that synthetic, right? We can alter some of its genes, and then because it's in its DNA, those changes will be passed down to future generations. That's why gene editing is controversial, and the ethics of it still need to be worked out. I am inevitable, says Tactical Bucket. Security team just talking to each other at this point. That's why the ethics still have to be worked out, because any gene editing you make inside of a person's DNA can be passed down. And if those future generations can't decide on whether or not they want that, that's an ethical dilemma, right? So synthetically changing stuff's DNA, you could do that. But doing that with a pulse of energy, I can't think of off the top of my head, Z. But a lot of stuff, I will say, to its credit, a lot of stuff in Mass Effect is quite good, science-wise. Maximura finally catching Discount Thor in a live stream. Ho ho! Specifically, Z, like the mass accelerator weapons that use just tiny flecks of metal, so they basically don't have any ammunition hindrance, but what they do is they need to get rid of waste heat that's generated by electromagnetically accelerating these particles to orbital speeds, many kilometers per second. So you have to dump a heat sink. All of that's totally scientific. Popping in to say hi, says Rex Wrath of the 5. Speaking of Doom, I think I might have to start listening to BFG Division during my workouts. No, Rex, check out the link that I tweeted. It's just it's a soundtrack edited together with some of the voice logs in the game. It gets me amped. Gold H2O with a 5 says, so you're saying I can't send the black hole image over Discord? No. Anyway, love the content. Quick question. What do you think of Prehistoric Planet? Oh, I didn't watch that yet. It looked absolutely amazing, but I don't know. Kia, welcome. Koopa, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a little bit. It's already rendered with a 10. It says, hey, Kyle, speaking of beneficial gene editing, I'd love for Batman Beyond's level of genetic splicing. Hey, who doesn't want to glow? Put some jellyfish DNA in me. You can quote me on that. I don't want to I don't want to glow during the daytime, and I don't want it to be all of me. I just want it to be like my heart. And you can see it at night. Anyway. So, we used a telescope the size of the Earth that looked at the night sky in radio waves to get the latest black hole image. Again, this isn't an image of the actual object itself. That image has an event horizon, a horizon at which events information stops, cannot escape. So you're seeing rather accretion, heat, gas, and dust around it. I think this... That's how we took a black hole image, but I want to know what you have to say. While we're transitioning here, I wasn't able to get it to work on YouTube. I don't know why. But directly after this stream, since I have been neglecting the Kyle Hill Gaming channel, directly after this stream, we will be hopping over to the gaming channel to play a new little indie game that I've put like 20 hours in over the last 2 days. And we'll do a quick little stream, gaming stream, Scientist Plays, highlighting that little game, and should be at least visually interesting for you. It's called Vampire Survivors. And we will see if science can help us survive, of course. Ryan Smith says, will it ever be possible to see a black hole? By definition, no, Ryan. What does see imply? Seeing implies photons of light in the visible range, 500 to 700 nanometers, bouncing off something or coming from something and hitting the back of your eyeball and getting transduced into electric signals that go into your brain and get interpreted as images. Like we said, nothing bounces off of a black hole and returns. Nothing engages with it. Now, photons can bend around it, like the stars we saw in those GIFs on the previous in the previous room. You can create like a photon sphere. If photons come in at the perfect angle, they can stay in orbit around a black hole and create like the edge of a black hole, the image of it, infinite number of... It gets really cool when you visualize it, but you're never seeing the black hole itself. Vampire Survivors is awesome. It gets crazy, says Eric Jordan. Well, Eric, stick around. After this, we're hopping over to the Kyle Hill Gaming channel, and we will be there for, I don't know. I have a goal in mind, but we'll play for about 90 minutes or so. It's a quick game, but it's visually interesting, and we have some stuff to talk about. Katie played with the 20. Could you say, be kind to each other, because this is all we got? Catchphrase? It's such a good catchphrase. Well, Katie, you're going to have to stick around to the end of the stream. You know how we end these things. Donald Kuzner with a 20. I think the JWST is a work of art. Is there a machine that you think is beautiful and practical? Platinum Phoenix says, I can't yell, so I won't be going. Platinum, always so supportive. Is there a scientific instrument that is beautiful and practical? I mean, when you see the detectors opened up on the Large Hadron Collider and you see that incredible spiral image filled with magnets and superconductors and stuff like that, that's pretty incredible, especially when you remember the scale. You know, it's absolutely enormous. But I haven't been there, so I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. Is the universe a torus? No. I don't know. Crowley, what's stopping us from using tritium for energy production? Okay, Dr. Octopus. All right, calm down. Okay, we get it. You don't like Spider-Man. Understood. We could use tritium in theory. Deuterium and tritium are so-called heavy water, heavy isotopes of hydrogen. Hydrogen 2 or hydrogen 3 has more neutrons than 0. 1 and 2 neutrons specifically. But that heavy water could be used in fusion reactions. It would be the main fusion fuel. And then we could use tritium to power everything. But like we said at the start of the stream, we're very far away from practical fusion energy. We haven't even gotten energy from fusion yet. We've sustained some reactions, but we haven't gotten energy from it. Mr. Pixelator, thank you for the 5. I don't know anything about white holes. They're only theoretical at the moment. Ryu with the 5 says, you can see a black hole near the end of its life when its Hawking radiation outputs some visible light with all the gamma rays. I don't think the lifetime of a black hole before it starts doing something like that, I think, is on the order of trillions of years. So, I don't know. Why not just use the electrons from its beta decay, says Crowley. Not as energetic. Beta decay, as we talked about last stream, about nuclear batteries, the decay is not very energetic, like I just said, and so you can't get a lot of energy from it. The difference between beta decay and energy released in fusion is got to be on the order of millions, thousands to millions of times more energy dense, so that's why. Yummy, Kyle Science Boy. All right. You freaking weirdos. Okay, so gonna get a little controversial here. Well, not really, but it's something that needs to be said. This is something. What is the Neil news? Hey, look at that. Okay, so this is something that needs to be said. So Neil is or was inarguably the most famous scientist most famous living scientist. And he has done a lot of good things for public education. No question. Last 10 years, he has been at the forefront of science communication efforts. People were calling him the new Carl Sagan. But in the last couple of years, what I have noticed, what other science communicators, my peers have noticed, what the public has noticed, is that his science communication has taken a turn towards the confrontational and the discouraging. And this happened recently again. There's many examples of stuff like this, but just about every time an astronomical event happens, Neil shows up to be a wet blanket, to discourage rather than encourage additional amazement. He's put his foot in his mouth this way about biology multiple times, about reproduction, about pain, a number of times, and I wouldn't be saying this if this wasn't a repeat offense. It is my opinion that if you, as a science communicator, actively work to discourage someone's enjoyment or interest, you are a bad science communicator. And I'm not just saying that out of my own opinion. You look, I'm not cherry picking here. These are the top 5 tweets underneath. Oh, look, science elitism. Ho, 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 says Baz from the background. Baz, interpret what I say correctly, okay? It is perfectly fair for me to want the most visible science communicator on the planet to do better. It's also my job, okay? There's a difference, right? I'm not being elitist. I'm more than qualified to talk about this. I'm perfectly qualified, okay? So just looking at the first 5 responses to Neil. Killjoy, why can't you just let us enjoy stuff? Why are you bodying the lunar eclipse right now? And when you're saying, science elitism or whatever, I can tell you that I've never gotten a response like this on anything that I've done. Anything that I've done in good faith, anything that I do in my work, trying to engage and entertain you in an interesting and fun way that's impactful and productive. Whatever. I may have been misinterpreting your elitist comment. I apologize. Either way. I never see responses like this to me. Kyle, why won't you just let people enjoy stuff? Unless I'm doing it tongue-in-cheek about superheroes or something. But this is about real-world occurrences over which he has a lot of expertise and he could comment on in a impactful, interesting way. Why wouldn't you want to hear, Neil deGrasse Tyson from 10 years ago talk about black holes or lunar eclipses or something like that? You'd be like, heck yeah, fire up that YouTube clip. But now, like I said, it seems like a repeat offense. And it's, and we don't have to do longer than this because I'm starting to see a couple of weirdos filter into the chat. If I were to say anything, I would say it directly to Neil as a fellow science. So, Neil, as a fellow science communicator, I think you can identify, being as smart as you are, the reaction you're getting from the kind of communication you're doing specifically on social media. In my opinion, it seems like you're taking these opportunities as a teaching opportunity and not a learning opportunity. People want to learn from you. So let them. That's what I would say to Neil. And chat, we don't have to talk about that very much because I know some of you are. yeah. There's this weird. I'm not gonna say the names of the people are bringing up, but there's a weird cadre of like. There's a weird group of people who defend a very certain kind of No, I'm not going to get into it. DeForest Tapin, what's your favorite miniature sci-fi game, if you've played any? I haven't played any miniatures games. Fugi with the 20 says, Kyle, love your videos, but I would ask if you were able to genetically engineer humans against stuff like psoriasis and other defects in our DNA, which is passed down, then I would consider it to be worth crossing ethics. Now, Fugi, Jesse, what are you talking about? Fugi, what is one of the big selling points of genetic engineering is curing genetic diseases that are directly traced back to a dysfunction in some gene, a deletion, a duplication, an error in some genetic code. And pretty much everyone seems to agree that that kind of genetic engineering is good. So I agree with you in that I would also consider it ethical. If you could eliminate a genetic disease from an entire lineage of people or populations, I think that's fine. Game over Jesse with a check mark. Kyle, if I give Disney $100 million to give you a TV show, would you take it? Jesse, I'd take $100 million for almost any reason. So yeah. Or you could just give me the money directly, if you want. Chat, I am actively pitching science TV shows. I can't say anything yet, but we might be getting close on one of them. That's all I'm going to say. Where we might get... I've been out here in the facility doing this for a long time. This one feels pretty close. We'll see. It feels closer than in a long time. We'll see. Event Horizon with a check mark. Hey Kyle, that tweet by Neil. Oof, I know. We just talked about it. Look, again, to kind of to close the loop on this, I still believe Neil, at his best, is one of the best science communicators of all time. The problem is he is tended towards not being that version of himself more often than not, and that is worrying, and that's something that I don't want. As one of his peers, lower though I may be, I want him to be better, because I know he's talented. Okay. Some collaboration with Papa Adam. All good ideas, but no. This is actually a show that I created. We'll see. The thing about living in the general area where I may or may not live is that it's an irons in the fire kind of situation. You could pitch 1,000 shows and never have any work out. So we'll see. Ryu again with a 10 says, why wait 1 trillion years to see a black hole? Go Kugelblitz today and make... Why wait 1 trillion years to see a black hole? Go Kugelblitz today and make effectively a portable star you can tug around with your ship. Shout out to Isaac Arthur, space engineers in chat. That sounds much harder. It's already rendered with the 10. It says, what about editing in things like genes that causes bones to be 8 times as dense, or the one that makes an enzyme that cleans your arteries? You don't want 8 times denser bones. You want stronger bones. So in materials engineering, all of these words that we use interchangeably in our day-to-day lives mean different things. Stronger, denser, tougher. Those all mean different things when you get into the specifics. So something that's denser may not be necessarily stronger. You know, bone may be less dense than water, for example, but water's much heavier, which makes water heavier. But water's not as strong as a structure. But bones are tougher than, you know, so you could if you wanted to make stronger bones, you'd probably mess with the intercellular matrices inside the bones or the structure or something. You don't want to make it denser is what I'm saying. Then you're too heavy. Jesse the Android with the 10. And we have one final thing to get to. And then, as I said before, I'll take a half-hour break, And then in an hour's time, right after this stream, we'll be hopping over to the Kyle Hill Gaming channel, and we'll be checking out a new indie game that I've recently sunk my teeth into. We'll be playing it for a little while. Why? Because it's fun, it's visually interesting, I can talk about it, and I've been ignoring the Kyle Hill Gaming channel. Jesse, hey show, Kyle the Love. Ooh. The lore of Battletech's battle mech technology seems like something that'll be right up your alley. Love to watch some Battletech. Noted. Owen Piat, or Piat, the 11.99. What's up, Kyle? Love your channel and have learned a ton. I'm just curious to see if you've ever touched on spirituality and its involvement in science and or life. Owen, I am not a spiritual person. But I find wonder and amazement in everything that we see, that we can explain, that still interests us, that's still mysterious. All of the experiences that people would say made them feel in a spiritual kind of way, I attribute to something else. That's the only difference. I believe that feeling that you're describing is important. It's unique. It can change. One epiphany like that can change your entire life. I think all those experiences are totally valid and valuable. I just think they come from some other place. That's it. Historical Cucumber. Are you going to do any more Half-Life stories anytime soon? Those are all my favorite. Historical, we just published one on the unexplainable death of Douglas Crowfoot. Go back on the Kyle Hill channel, and you can see it right now. Also, this week we are republishing our Chapter 2 of our Chernobyl visit. I think it may be the most professional and best representation of my serious work ever. So if you didn't see it before it was taken down, it will be coming back up this week. Okay? Okay. Peer review. So as I'm wont to do on every episode of Office Hours, BRB, you got a peer review. Man, you're on top of it. Are you still running Because Science, or is it all just the Kyle Hill Show? Says Green Lantern. I have not worked at Nerdist and or Because Science in over 2 years. I have nothing to do with the channel. As of right now, I make no decisions. I don't do anything. I don't do anything there at all. Thumbnail is perfect. Yeah, I was like, hey, look at the trending tabs, and what do those look like? Let's do that. So yeah, I've zero, though my image, likeness, and content appears on Because Science, I currently have zero to do with it, and no control over it. Don't worry about it. Peer review, so as I want to do, I'd like to take a look at your comments, questions, and reactions from the latest episode of The Facility. Oh, now we're going to talk about this, huh? I miss your Because Science videos. Do you miss The Void? We did incredible work at Because Science that I'm very proud of for 5 years. I made a video every single week without missing maybe even a single week for 5 years in a row. I'm satisfied. I scienced basically every superpower, every superhero, every interesting pop culture thing I could think of for 5 years, and I really don't feel the need to do that anymore. And the cool part about being back here at the facility is that we can do that stuff, and then we can also do other stuff. We can talk about the engineering of showers. We can do documentaries from Chernobyl, and we can talk about superhero stuff. So, this is the place to be. If you want anything of me, this is the place to be. Anyway. So, your comments, questions, and corrections from the latest episode of the facility. I said shower engineering sucks. Why? Because based on its basic B-word engineering, it's very hard to find the right temperature. I gave you the reasons why and even some suggestions to make that not the case. Top comment. Wow, what a handsome and informative video. Says some guy using a thanks button that's new to YouTube channels. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that if you really found something valuable and you're not doing a live super chat, you can still effectively do a super chat on videos that are already published. What? Kevin, you know about this? Yeah, you can do it. I think we're only going to get to one comment here, which is important, and it's important to point out because I did not think about this. And I appreciate... Bro, did you tip yourself $2? Says J-Bo. Bro, that's so sad. I'm letting them know about a product that they wouldn't otherwise know about, you dum-dum. How's your family? Karagoth with a 500 SEK. Love the shower episode. If oxygen not included has taught me anything, it's that water is extremely energy dense, and that cooling it means dumping that heat somewhere else, preferably not on your crops. I think what you mean is that energy dense is has a high heat capacity, and yes, you are. Yeah. Mm-hmm. As I said in the shower episode, $10 with a thank you, says GSX. As I talked about, it's hard to find a good temperature for your shower because, as you're getting at, water has a high energy capacity, which means it can take a lot of heat away from you, which is why it's so good at conducting heat away from you, and so you can easily get very hot or very cold. Conversely, very hot or very cold. So I said you could turn down your water heater a little bit to give you a finer range on your shower handle. And this is what... Oh, wait. Karagoth, you're the top comment of what I just said. Karagoth with the SEK 500, love the shower episode. You're the top... Hey, buddy. Very important note on turning down your house hot water temperature. It needs to have a minimum temperature high enough to prevent the growth of Legionnaire's disease. It favors 77 to 113 F, and so should be above it to also handle heat loss in pipes. Karagoth, you're obviously way more of a nerd, of a shower nerd than me. So you are officially today's winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Now, usually I give out an award at this point, but I just got nerd sniped by K-Bar in the chat. Hey, Kyle, would you be able to use a Fermi estimation to answer the age-old question? Are there more doors or wheels in the world? There's 7 billion people. Most of them have cars. No, that's not true. Half people have cars, let's say. That's 3.5 billion cars. Cars on average will have 4 wheels. We're excluding tricycle cars, which aren't cars, and big wheelers, which there aren't as many of. It's 4 wheels. 4 multiplied by 3.5 is over 12 billion wheels. That's just cars. I would assume there's less houses. Does everyone have a house? No. But most people go somewhere, and that somewhere probably has more than one door. Which means if everyone is going if everyone goes somewhere at night, most people on the planet. Oh, but families live together. A lot of people are in families. So if the average family is like 4 people, you might have, 2 billion families, and then every place they go has at least 2 doors, so you're like 4 billion. I don't... Lego wheels exist as well. See, Jesse, so what you do for a Fermi estimation is you start with solid numbers that you're confident in. So we're not even mentioning everything else that has a wheel, everything else has a door. I'm just starting with cars and houses. And, you know, everyone's saying trains and cars have doors. Okay, so cars have doors. So this would take a long, long time. I can't do it off the top of my head. See, what you'd want to do in this kind of situation is try to find like a deciding variable. What, like, is there something we're not thinking about that obviously is way more numerous than everything else? So that's why I started with something like cars. And then you have all the bicycles in the world. It seems like Layla, love your new intro, waiting for the catchphrase and keep up the great work. Oh, I'll give it to you. Is there something we're not thinking of that is so numerous as to dominate the question? Dr. Rudful says there's an average of 6.4 doors per house. Oh yeah? Prove it. Thanks to Lego, there are more wheels. Why is everyone saying Lego wheels? You know there's other stuff, right? Why am I getting angry? I'm sorry. Jeremy, with the 11, says, next time there's a professors-only stream, there needs to be a review called Beer Review, where we get to have a fun science bit about a fun new beer. COVID brain is giving me dumb ideas today. Jeremy, maybe not a beer review on the next professors-only stream, but how about I have some beers? And we see what happens. Yeah, but what about Lego doors? Everybody calm down. Lego isn't the only thing that exists, you geeks. Andres Salgado with the $9.99. Hey, Kyle, love your show. Watching from Poland right now. Currently almost 1 a.m. here. Thank you for staying up for science. Do you think black holes emit a natural frequency like everything else? If so, are the frequencies trapped like secret sounds? Andres, as we've mentioned a couple of times, black holes don't emit anything. Hawking radiation would be the only thing. They don't emit information in the way that you are describing. I'm glad this has been challenging. I've been in heated arguments about doors and wheels. Most people say wheels, but even Google says wheels, but I'm doubtful. Do conveyor belts count towards wheels, Dr. Strangeove says? Okay, everyone keeps saying Legos, and I'm going to turn the car around. Is the average car a sedan? Then that has 4 doors, and that cancels out the number of wheels on average. Like, damn it! Chat. I'll mind you, in 30 minutes or so, if you're not subscribed to the Kyle Hill Gaming channel, which I will put in the chat right now, or, one of my security, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you to it. Which I'm gonna put in the chat right now. Gaming. Since we've been ignoring the Kyle Hill Gaming channel, and I don't want to do that anymore, in about 30 minutes, we will be jumping on to a new indie game where we will be trying to survive a roguelite game where the number of enemies on screen in a 30-minute game approaches about 25,000. And we must survive, and survive we will. I promise you. All the wheels of old VHS cassette, all the VHS cassette tapes ever made have wheels. Shut up. Do valves count as doors? No. What is a door? We sound like Vsauce now. It wouldn't be a bad Vsauce topic. Do wardrobe doors count? Is a closet just a door for clothes? You're making me feel insane. What about the wheels inside the motors of a car, says Andre Gracia. Damn! That's true. There's probably more wheels in a car than doors. Like there's just a number of flywheels in a car. So that cancels out the number of doors on cars per average that is canceling out the wheels. What about a sliding door? It has wheels. Joke's on you. Valves are doors, says Jason. No. A lot of people have fridges. Those are doors. Everyone, shut up. Is a hood just a door for engines? Hotels have a lot of doors. Is a tunk a door? Gears are wheels. Gears are wheels. What about the wheeled suitcases? Doors are valves for people. Shut up. Is a valve just a door for water? What is a sword if not just a long knife? Kyle, take your medicine. I did. Shit. Okay, I can't. I'm stalling. Conveyor belts are covered in wheels. Oh, man. What is a cupcake if not just a small cake? Oh, that's probably why it's called that. Because it's a cake you make in a cup-sized thing. Are windows just doors for air? Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for watching today's stream. What did we talk about? We talked about the new black hole image from the Event Horizon telescope. We did a little bit of tough love, stern talking to. Is a lid on a jar of mayonnaise a door for mayonnaise? Respectfully, shut up. Don't gift that. We gave some tough love and stern talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson. Just some peer-to-peer advice. And we took one of your comments and questions from the latest episode of The Facility. If you want to continue on this conversation without making me insane, go comment on the video. Like it, subscribe to the channel. Join The Facility if you want to talk with me almost every day on Discord. I'm always lurking. I'm always checking. You can always ping me there. We have hundreds and hundreds of nerds there. I've heard from everybody's experience that it's the nicest Discord they've ever been in. They love it. I love it. I love you. Thank you for supporting us in The Facility. Thank you to the security team who had their hands full today. Right after this, subscribe to the Kyle Hill. You've honestly made me crazy. The Kyle Hill Gaming channel, as I'm putting in the chat right now, and we'll be playing a new indie game about vampires that I kind of look like, and it will be fun. This week at The Facility, as I said, we are reposting a modified version of our trip to Chernobyl when we explore Pripyat, the most famous ghost town, which might be the title. Not so bad. I hope to see all of you there and in the gaming stream 30 minutes from now, but no matter where it is the next time I see you, if it's next week's office hours, if it's the next video, if it's live in 30 minutes, I hope that until then, you have a wonderful rest of your existence until then. And remember, be nice to each other. Because this is all we got. Okay, see you soon.